live, I have been given a video by Corvus. Who is Corvus? I don't know, but he has me on Twitter. Women across Iceland, including the Prime Minister, go on strike for equal pay and no more violence. I found that violence against any type of citizen is illegal. But well, who's disagreeing with this, by the way? Is there like an opposing group that's like, no, we do not accept your demands. There will be violence. Is there anyone that's like? Because I don't think there's anyone that's like that. But yeah, usually from my personal experience, I may be wrong, but most of the times I'm not. When you see the prime minister or the president striking, that is a grift. That is a political shit show. There is no way. Like never in the history of humanity. Imagine like the king protesting with the peasants. It's like no. 1 out of 9 people across Iceland gathered during the women's strike. Not to mention like the women's strike. It's like, oh, so an opportunity to take a day off. Yes, I'm pretty shocked. Based on gender, yeah? I would be striking with them as well. As a man, by the way. If women were paid less, holy shit, like it would be impossible to find a job as a man. Wouldn't that be the case? Like, if okay, so for example, I'm making a video game, I'm hiring people. If a female coder would code exactly the same as a man coder, but I would be able to pay her less, why would I ever hire a man? It makes absolutely no sense. Not to mention, you know, it's the whole thing with the pregnancy as well. Like, there are laws that are protecting women from getting fired because they're pregnant. There are laws that are protecting women from that are giving women money, you know, like while they are pregnant, usually taxpayer money. I don't know if in Iceland it's like that, but school shops, banks, and famous swimming pools, including the prime minister, went on strike. Interesting how none of the farmers went on strike. I mean, that's a good thing because you still need to feed the population, you know? Like, you can still have a society without schools, banks, and swimming pools. Unfortunately, you can't have a society without farmers, truckers, garbage collectors. Yeah, some reason people don't really care about this, but it's important. A military is important as well. Probably not for Iceland though, because they're an island nation, so they're not going to get attacked. But I'm glad that these sectors of the economy are still functioning. Icelanders awoke to an all-male news team announcing shutdown across the country, with public transports delayed. Hospitals understaffed. Well, okay, like when you tell me about hospitals, then I start to care a little bit. Public transport, not so much. People should get a car anyway. Understaffed and hotel rooms unclean. Oh, the horror. The hotel rooms are unclean. Trade unions, the strike's main organizers, called on women and non-binary. Non-binary people, very important. So it's women and non-binary. So if you want, you can identify as a non-binary person and you too can get a day off work. To refuse paid and unpaid work, including chores. About 90% of the country workers belong to a union. Well, this is what happens. This is what happens when unions run amok. The prime minister said she... So again, like a country which has a female prime minister is suffering from sexismus. Right, so you want me to believe that these men in Iceland are so filled with misogyny that they are misogynistic to the extreme. But when it comes to voting, they're perfectly fine with voting so that they're in a situation where they have a female prime minister. Is this like what you're trying to make me believe? Like, is this the reality that you... Can we have a country that really hates men but like elects a male as a prime minister? Do those things exist? Huh? Imagine if like Hamas would elect a Jewish representative. Would that make any sense? Huh? If Hamas elected Benjamin Netanyahu to represent them, would it? Probably not. But like, okay, the hell do I know? So Iceland, the rugged nation around 308,000 people, just below the Arctic Circle, has ranked as the world's most gender-equal country 14 years in a row. So I want you to understand. It's like this is the world's 14th most gender-equal country, and yet they still have women going on strike. It's not enough. I mean, obviously, like they're not number one. So Do you know how you can get women to be paid the same as men? Like unironically. I'm not even kidding. Like Romania did it. Do you want to know how Romania did it? Like when you seriously, like when you look at the European Union, it was a couple of years ago. I don't know if they maintain the same status quo. But a couple of years ago, they actually had this. We had the lowest gender pay gap in the European Union. And we had like no feminismus. We had like no. I mean, maybe there were a couple of initiatives here and there, but overwhelmingly, we did not have initiatives that were supposed to combat, gender discrimination stuff. Do you know how they did it? Like how men and women became equal paid in Romania? Impoverish the nation. Like, ironically, when the nation is poor, you have a father. Like, I want you to imagine your stereotypical Eastern European family, right? Like, they're sitting at a table. The father is stoic, doesn't show emotion. He's like crossed eyes. The table is poor. It doesn't have a lot of food on it. The light is flickering. It's got like a dark ambiance, right? Like, imagine the Soviet Union, right? It's also, the color is gray. Hold on, let me show you. Hold on. I think I got the perfect thing so that you can see. So here. Got the Simpsons Soviet Union. All right. Let's go past the commercials, and I'll show you what I mean, right? So you can imagine the picture. It's kind of like this, right? This is how Eastern Europe is like. It's very grim, right? Like, there's no color. There is a little bit of color here and there, but like overwhelmingly, this is how it's like. So let's see if you have a picture with the family. Here we go, right? So you got the picture with the family. Everyone is poor, right? Impoverished. The table doesn't have a lot of food. And in this situation, the daughter says, "I want to become a journalist when I grow up." This is the face that the father makes within that moment. This is the face of concern that the mother is making, and she will be, "No, you will not become a journalist. You will become a doctor. You will learn to become a doctor because we do not want you to be a parasite on us for the rest of your life. We want you to be independent, strong woman, and a strong independent woman manages to bring home the bacon. And in order to bring home the bacon, you need to become a doctor and travel to Germany. So you be a doctor in Germany and undercut the doctors from there. I don't care what the German doctors do, but you will go there, undercut them, take their euros, and bring them home." That is the meta. So when the nation is impoverished, all of a sudden, women are restricted from their choices. They cannot go to gender studies to get their degrees. They cannot become the HR lady. There is no HR. Companies are poor. They can't afford HR. They become doctors. Right? All of a sudden, gender pay gap fixed. Just by removing free will. You remove free will, the father knows best. The mother as well. Like, they usually talk to each other, as you can see here. The father shows concern. Daughter wants to become, I don't know, a lesbian dance master PhD. And the no, but that doesn't pay. Like, how is she going to make money? No. It's not a good idea. She needs to become doctor. She needs to study. Oh, daughter wants to go out and play. She wants to go clubbing. Mother is concerned. It's like, what do you mean she wants to go clubbing? Did she do her homework? Did she study? Did she get good grades? No? Then she stays at home. She studies. Lock her up. Lock the door. No, unironically, they lock the door. If you happen to live at the first apartment, maybe the daughter can jump off the window. Otherwise, her hormones are raging. She wants to meet Tom, but unfortunately the door is locked. She needs to make her homework. She needs to study. She needs to become doctor. This is how you abolish the gender pay gap. I'm not kidding. Like, it works, all right? I'm not an expert on ethics, morality. I'm just telling you what functions. Post your real relation to stream title without getting banned challenge. Your real reaction to stream that. No, I can't complete that challenge. I'm sorry. Hello V, how's your day? New diversity high. Okay. Should I talk about the Xbox lady a little bit, or do we finish talking about the Iceland? Yeah, women can. They don't have to identify as men. They have to identify as non-binary. So if women identify as non-binary, then we'll go like wage gap solved. It never gets to be brought up again. You can't have gender issues if you have gender abolition. The Russian Simpsons, yes. Um, Women can't live the luxurious lifestyle. I genuinely don't know. I think they can. Why are they so fat if they don't have enough food? Dude, see, this is a misconception. A lot of people believe that in order to be fat, you need to not have food. It used to be true back in the medieval age. But now it's not true. It's not even genetics. It's the type of food you eat. So if you eat greasy food, that's usually very easy to cook. So like sausages are very cheap, right? Like you don't spend a lot of money for sausages. If you buy those bags with fries in it, and then you buy cooking oil, and then you put the fries in the cooking oil, it's very cheap. It takes like 5 or 10 minutes to cook. It's very like it saturates you, right? It doesn't require you to eat more than once. Ordering out, like if you order a pizza, I mean, come on, we live in 2023. If you order a pizza, it's not that expensive. You can have 2 people eating from it. The advantage is you don't have to cook that much, right? Like making a salad actually requires you to be in the kitchen for a long period of time. And when you come home from work after working 10 hours, even like spending 20 minutes in the kitchen is way too much. And then you have to clean the dishes and shit, right? So imagine this. If you eat every day, you eat 1 meal per day, and then maybe you have like a snack or something. It's very cheap, but it's going to make you fat. Like if you want to stay healthy, you need to eat 3 meals a day. You need to eat more vegetables than you eat meat. Like you still need to eat meat, but it's like it should be like 60 to 75% veggies, and then the meat, right? So this is how you gain fat, and not to mention if you drink alcohol as well, right? So you drink booze in order to drench your sorrows. You don't have to be very wealthy to do this. You know, right? Meanwhile, wealthy people, they can afford to like buy expensive meat, which has less grease, less stuff that's going to make you sick. They can eat 3 meals a day. They have more time. They can go to an expensive restaurant and have food there. So yeah, like overall, the idea of like being fat isn't like back in the old day where only people who were poor were fat. No. Pizza is cheaper than lettuce. Yeah, good point. Like $10 a lettuce. Come on. No, like unironically, to eat healthy now requires more money than to eat to the point where you get fat. What do? I can't digest fruits and vegetables. Just do what you don't really have to. Do like what everyone does, like if it works for you, it works for you. Anyhow, let me see what else we got. Wait. We need to go back to Iceland because I'm curious. So the Prime Minister of Iceland is protesting again, the 14th country with the best gender pay gap. Iceland's schools and the health system, which have female-dominated workforces, said they would be heavily affected. National broadcaster says it was reducing television and radio broadcasts for the day. Oh my fucking god, they shut down the propaganda? Wow. So without women, they have to shut down the propaganda machine. They have to shut down the mainstream media. How will the fact checkers cope with this? There's probably less misinformation going around in Iceland. Isn't that also interesting? Like, if you organize a protest, don't you need the media to talk about it? Like, if the media doesn't talk about it, then... Gatherings on Tuesday were held across Iceland, the largest city, where much of the capital center was closed to traffic, and tens of thousands gathered in the grassy hill for a rally. Speaker listed grim facts about the economic inequality and the sexual violence. You call this equality? The crowd thundered no. But like, okay, so out of all these women, don't you have like women that do hirings, like entrepreneurs and business owners? Like do they underpay women as well? How does it work? Huh? Like, seriously, right? Like, if you're telling me that the schools are so affected, that do they not hire? Like, do you not have, like, the woman that's a principal and she gets to decide how the payment goes? And also, aren't the schools part of the government? Like, most of them? Aren't there public schools? Why is the prime minister protesting if the schools which are under her care are underpaying women? Does this have to make sense, or do we pretend that it somehow does? Huh? While women in Iceland have pushed or broke the glass ceiling for top jobs, from bishop to leaders of... Wait, bishop? That's a top job? Huh? Bishop to leaders of the National Wrestling Association. This is not the top job, you know? Like, maybe, whatever. Tell me when they managed to become, like, the best farmers. Again, like if society collapses, you need farmers. Like, it's the first thing a society requires. Food, right? Food and water. Who cares about, like, entertainment and other stuff? But anyway, the lowest paying jobs such as cleaning and childcare are still predominantly done by women. Yeah, but, like, can we compare it to men? Like you're making it sound that men in Iceland are living the dream, but, like, the women are so oppressed that they have to shut down the entire nation. The work essential to Iceland, tourist-dominated economy, also depends heavily on immigrants, who, on the whole, work longer hours and take home the lowest salaries. I see now what's happening. I see now what's going on. I see the problem, but they can't complain about it because that's racismus. Around 22% of the female workforce is foreign-born. Foreign women are more vulnerable, says an artist and designer from Canada who lived in Iceland for 30 years. Hopefully what is being done today will help change that. No, but, like, unironically, alright, like, please help me understand. I'm a little bit of an idiot. Like, maybe you can explain it to me. So, violence against women is illegal, right? Like, it is. You go to prison. It's like violence towards men is the same thing. In fact, like, violence towards women is more socially unacceptable than violence towards men. And I don't think there should be equality there, right? Because a woman is obviously, like, physically weaker than a man. As a man, you should not hit a woman. Whatever. So it's illegal. That's my point. And you're protesting to what? Like, it's already criminalized. Like you're telling me that if you have, like, a drunk alcoholic, right? And he comes home drunk and beats his wife, right? Like you should go to prison. But, like, let's assume no one presses charges for some reason. Is this going to stop him from doing it? Like, oh no, women are protesting. I guess I should... No, help me understand. Like, I genuinely want to understand this thing, right? Like, if there's a criminal out there which is doing something that's already illegal, like, you should go to prison already, right? Like, if there wasn't a law against it, then I would understand. You're, like, protesting to make a law. But if the thing is happening, it's already socially unacceptable, it's already illegal, what more do you want? Is this, like, the rain dance or something? The spirit dance? And you think, like... Not to mention, I don't think, like, Iceland has genuinely a problem with violence towards women, more so than other countries. Like, I would like to see the statistics. I would really love to see it. But yeah, it is what it is. I mean... And also, like, the violence towards women is always implied that men are doing it. Like do women not do violence against other women? Because I know men do violence against other men. But they're trying to frame it as if it's, like, this gender thing. Right? Women do violence against men as well. I mean, holy shit, I remember a couple of colleagues from my classroom, like, they came with brown eyes and shit at the school, and when you ask them what happened, it's like, well, their mother applied the beating, applied the correction. That's female on male violence, right? The mother or the son. But apparently, do we talk about... No, because it doesn't fit the narrative. All right, well, again. The question is, like, what is the solution? What is the solution? It's already illegal. It's already socially unacceptable. People who are wife beaters are considered to be some of the worst scum. Like the only people that are more scummy than them are the sexual offenders. Wife beaters don't have a nice time in prison either. I generally don't understand it. But anyway, a little thin privilege, says Lixion. Affirmative action has come to my company. We had a meeting and the woke are creeping in. The black HR ladies have come and they were speaking the diversity, inclusivity, and equity speech. I don't think this is going to last for long, by the way. Usually you have this thing when you have a rich nation, right? So like if you have a rich country, your company is doing well, then it's doing fine. But when things go down and when the gravy train stops, companies do have to make a couple of pay cuts, and sometimes the diversity and inclusivity thing has to go. It's not economically profitable. I mean, it's socially virtue signaling, call it what you want. You know, it shows that it's a good company that cares about people. Blah 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 blah. But in reality, it's not profitable, and it's one of the first things that has to go. Speaking of profits, we're going to be talking about Xbox. So I actually looked at this lady. I looked at this new Xbox CEO chica, and I wanted to see like what is her gamer tag, right? Like what video games does she play? What things did she do? So looking up at her resume, from what I could gather, and this is public knowledge. She partnered with the executive team to set and evolve company strategic direction, led enterprise-wide operational transformation, exceeding program goal with $1 billion reduction in operational costs, partnered with CCO team to set and evolve company strategic directions, created and instated company shaping internal M&A. Basically, like her job at Xbox was that she was on the board, and then she was on the board and then became CEO. Which, by the way, newspeak in corporate world is like what the team did rather than what I accomplished for the team. In other words, I do not expect that this lady is going to understand what gamers want. I do not think that she's going to represent gamers' interests. I think she is going to be like this very cutthroat corporate individual which just tries to maximize profits at the expense of the quality of the product. Like, there's nothing wrong with maximizing profits, but there's two ways of doing it. There is the way where you create a brand, and then people want to buy your stuff because, is the brand, and you put a high-quality product. We don't have that many companies like that now, but think about how Blizzard used to be. Like, I knew people who would pirate every single game, but when it was a Blizzard game, they would go out of their way in order to save money to buy it. That's how respectable Blizzard was at a company. So, like, if you're part of a respectable corporation and you have a respectable brand, then people will buy your product and you will make money, not by having to cut costs and do all of these nefarious business tactics, but you'll just make money because people respect you. I don't think this is going to be the case. I definitely think that the moving forward, Xbox is going to try to spy more on gamers, install more AI that's going to listen in to what you're talking with your friends, harvest more data from you, and then try to sell it to third parties. I expect this type of behavior from Xbox. And of course, we're going to see far fewer games, far fewer exclusives. I give Xbox maybe I give Xbox maybe like 1 or 2 more generations before consoles are going to be completely replaced. Like, instead of consoles, you're just going to have maybe like an app on your smart TV, and that's going to be the new console. I generally don't think that consoles are here to stay. There is no reason to get a PlayStation now. Like, people are just buying it because of inertia. But like, please tell me, what is the advantage of having a PlayStation versus having a PC? There's none. Like, there's no exclusives. The only thing that you can get if you have a PlayStation is Bloodborne. That's it. Seems like a corporate effective action hire. Yeah, I mean, I can't talk much about her, but like, again, this is the type of person, like when I saw the picture and people told me it's like, hey, Xbox has a new CEO, I was like, well, it's probably someone that was kept as humanly possible. It's probably someone that was kept away as much away as humanly possible from the customer, isn't it? Like, someone who has absolutely nothing to do with the product, nothing to do with the customer, like someone from an ivory tower, which and I was right, like board meeting, board. She was on a board, and then on another board, and then on a board, and then became CEO. So consoles are much cheaper, and games are cheaper if bought used. Can you even like give away used games now? Like no, unironically. So if I have a game on a console, like right, like most people buy them online. So I have my PlayStation account, and then I buy a game for my PlayStation online. Can I trade it? No, it's mine, right? Like it's fixed to the account. Now, recently, what I've seen is that even when you buy actual physical discs, you have the surprise with some titles, not all, but with some titles, you have the surprise that you buy the game, and when you open the box, there's no disc in it. Instead, you get a CD key, which you go online to a website, you put the CD key in, and you download the game, and you latch it onto an account. The idea of used games is something that's going to disappear. And this is something that the market wants, by the way. Like, this is not something that's being imposed top-down. You can't blame the companies or anything. It's much more convenient for people to just go on Xbox Live or to go on PlayStation Store and buy a game, have it downloaded on their machine, put it up on their user account, and that's it. Physical media also rules PCs. Don't sell discs anymore. Yeah, no, the age of the disc is gone. First of all, like, discs don't even exist. Hello, Joanna. We have USBs now. But, yeah, I mean, the age of the disc and the physical store is out. Like, no one... And this is, like, 100% to blame on the gamers, right? Like, this is what the market wanted. What can you do? There are certain things that are pushed top-down, like the ESG stuff, and okay, like that is top down. I agree that, you know, you can't really blame gamers for it. I don't even blame gamers for loot boxes, because most gamers don't do loot boxes, but it's enough for like 5% of the people to do it. And well, like the only thing at that point would be to remove free will. So no, I know you like your discs, but it's not enough for you to like your discs, right? Like, if you the thing with microtransactions is that there are 5% of the people that are whales, like people who are addicted to microtransactions. They don't just buy a couple of loot boxes. Like they will spend thousands of dollars on loot boxes, hoping that eventually they will get what they want. I guess it's kind of like the casino thing, right? Where you pull the lever and you spill the fruits. Like, at least with that, you can actually win money with like, gacha games and shit. It's like, oh, congratulations, you won a sword in an MMO that you're not going to play in 5 years. Probably you're not going to play it in 2 years, but like, hey, now you're cool. Now you got a sword. It's actually really hilarious if you look at it. There is a difference in mentality as well. Like, here in the West, if you play gacha games, people are going to ask, like, what the fuck is wrong with you? What are you doing? Right? Like, if you tell someone, hey, I spent $1,000 on microtransactions in Overwatch, or I spent $1,000 in Hearthstone, like, people are going to be like, are you insane? Like, what? However, hello, Dekar. However, if you actually play the game, and you manage to, like, oh, I played Hearthstone and I'm really good, and I managed to get all these new cards by playing the game, people will be like, wow, that's impressive. Meanwhile, in China, the opposite is true, right? So in China, if you spend $1,000 on gacha games, you're a fucking Chad. The way they justify it is like, wow, so you must be that rich, right? Like you must actually be that rich, and this is your hobby. So they will actually be happy if you spend $1,000. Meanwhile, if you play a game and you're like, well, I spent 10,000 hours playing this game, they'll be like, what? So you jobless or something? Like, can you not do something productive for society? And ironically, like, they view the Chad, the person who goes to work, makes money, and then they don't care how you spend it. Like, you want to spend money on shit, that's fine. The fact that you actually contributed to society and you did money is venerated. And, you know, like, in a way, I genuinely do not know if the Chinese mindset is better or not. But it's very different. I buy memberships or subscriptions way more than microtransactions. Yeah, I can see that. Like at least with membership and subscription, you know that you're getting something, right? With microtransactions, especially like on Hearthstone, like you're buying decks of cards and shit. It's like, what are you getting? You must know people that play Project Entropia Universe talk about microtransactions. Oh, actually, I don't know every single small multiplayer game that's coming out. Calamity says, me watching in horror as I open the leaderboards and the enemy team full of Chinese usernames with premium vehicles. They're running on scripts. Yeah, I mean, again, in the West, it's also viewed as cheating, like even if you're not running on script. But like buying items, like pay to win, is viewed as very poor sportsmanship. Meanwhile, in China, it's actually being viewed as being a chab. We gotta do a 180 when we find out this game is full of loot boxes. Why do you want to give me ideas? Like, but why though? Why? Like, why are you tempting me? Why are you being a... You know, like, the problem is if you make a hentai game that actually has loot boxes, it may actually be so addictive. I mean, look at some of these other games, right? Like, what do we have? We got, what is the name of, Azure Lane, and then you have, all these other ones, whatever. But, like, they're so fucking popular, and all they do is, like, they have cute waifus. Like, that is the selling point, right? It's not necessarily the story, it's not necessarily the gameplay. They have hot waifus, and then they have loot boxes. And for some fucking reason, they're incredibly popular due to this. I just... Because I'm curious, like, I'm literally curious, would Azure Lane be as popular without the loot boxes? And I think the answer is no. I genuinely think that the answer is no, like, they're not as popular. I wanted to talk about something else that's interesting. Someone actually said, I'm not reading your DMs, Christika. I'm not reading your DMs. Guys, there is one of you out there who's actually, like, trying to bypass the super chat system. Like, all of you guys, you know, you gotta pay me like $2 or $1 so I can read your super chat. This guy is trying to contact me on DMs. Look, it's my business model, okay? I don't have loot boxes, but I make money out of reading super chats. Sometimes I look at the chat, and even though someone didn't give me a super chat, I still read the comment. Why? Because I'm trying to be fair and engaging. But you, trying to be a weasel, go around the chat thinking you're better than everyone. You're not better than everyone. I'm going to take your wrench away. Stop it. You don't even have a wrench. I'm going to give you a wrench and I'll take it away. Anyway, right. So, as I was saying. Yeah, Angelic Detective. It's shocking. I had this conversation on my Discord, right? Like, a lot of people are upset that Discord is becoming more censorious. And I do get it. You know, I understand the situation. However, it's like, let's go somewhere else. I'll tell you what happens if you go somewhere else. Other places do not censor until they get more people. Once they have critical mass, like once they get enough people, then they start censoring. Every single fucking time. No exception. And the reason for it, and many people won't like it, but the reason for the censorship is the fact that people want censorship. I know it's shocking, but like the overwhelming amount of people want censorship. And I proved to my Discord server. If I were to bring the IRC era, right? Like, let's say I have a time machine and we bring the same rules on the internet that existed in the 90s. Or hell, you know, rules that existed in the early 2000s even. If people were to start posting gore, shocking content, as they call it, right? Like the lemon party, the scat, like all the things that used to be posted before censorship, half of you would leave the Discord. And they confirmed it. They said yes. And I'm like, well, there you go. You want the censorship. You want the censorship? Like okay, so you know, like every single person that doesn't want censorship, they were like, well, you know, I want to post some edgy memes, I want to post the N word. Okay, but the moment they see other people posting stuff that's more messed up, like if you see, you know, the type of content that used to be posted on the live leaks, and I mean, holy shit, when the Hamas thing happened in Israel, like there were some really gory videos on Twitter, and immediately you had the European Union upset. It's like, oh, shocking content. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, like people don't want to see that, you know. Like, and I know right wingers that are like that they want free speech and they want everything. The moment you post, you don't even have to post a lolly next to them. You don't even need to post a lolly. You just post a My Hero Academia lady, which shows booby, and they freak the fuck out. Look at Gab, right? Look at Andrew Torba. Andrew Torba, oh, Jesus Christ, the Lord Protector, Savior. Let's ban porn. Everyone wants censorship, okay? The only question is, what censorship do you want? What's your flavor? What should we censor? But like, everyone wants censorship. That is no sense. And I'm not like being an extremist here and being like, oh well, you know, just because like you don't want gore. No, like even like if we are to assume that, okay, so you don't want gore, you don't want this, you don't want that, there will be stuff that some people will argue that shouldn't be censored, right? Because like with the thing with the gore, like almost everyone goes like, okay, fine, no gore. You know, lolly, okay, fine, no lolly. But like, can we have I don't know, like a naked My Hero Academia character, naked Uzaki-chan? Is that okay? No, it's not. I see. It is what it is, you know. Like, people want censorship. Like, naked Uzaki-chan wouldn't be that offensive, right? Because I understand, like, you don't want gore because it would offend, like, 98% of the user base. Even though you can literally mute the guy posting it. That's how we solved it back in the old era of the internet. Like, people who were being edgelords and they were just trying to shock other users, they would just get muted. And then they would realize, oh shit, like, I'm on the internet because I want to interact with people, so I shouldn't shock everyone because I get muted all the time. I got trained by Turn-Flicking Monkey to keep jumping platforms to avoid censorship, says Raining Terror. I love your nickname. I want the freedom to associate with people I like and talk about what I want. You can have your thing. Well, at least, you know, like I realize that the idea of no censorship at all is gone. All right, like it's never going to happen. There is no way that is going to take place. So I need to resign myself. Like what can I get which is realistic, right? So clearly, like, censorship is not going to go away. This idea of free speech absolutism isn't something that I can have. You know, like there's too many people against me on both sides. So no matter how much I argue for it, no matter how much I desire it, not gonna happen. Okay, so what can I get? Well, at least I want a system where the rules are being enforced equally. That's all I want. I want to know that if the rules are like no racismus, I want to see racismus from the left getting banned as well as racismus from the right. I want to see everyone being under the same rules. If you tell me no doxing, I do not want to see some SS wolf that is going around doxing people with no repercussions. That's it. That's all I want. Because then if a rule is ridiculous and unreasonable, then it's not going to get enforced. Another thing that I want, stop reading my fucking DMs. Just stop it. Get the fuck out. Do you notice that they don't call it private message anymore? Like almost on every single website, they don't call it private message. They call it direct message. Because it's not private. It used to be, but it's not. USS Sniper one. Women will always get away. Not necessarily. I mean, yes. But it depends on the woman. Let's put it like that. Like if you're a lefty woman, yeah, sure. But like if you're a right-wing woman, probably not. We need the anti-censorship terrorists. Jesus Christ. Let me see if I got some other news. So apparently IGN has been rating a lot of stuff recently, as they usually do. And there's this movie which came out, Five Nights at Freddy's. Now, the problem with Five Nights at Freddy's is that why would you make a movie out of it, right? Like, my point is there's no plot. I mean, there is a little bit, but like, you're a guy watching cameras, right? And there's automatrons that are coming to get you, and you gotta close the cameras before the animatrons come to you. Like, that's my extent of the knowledge. If there's more, let me know. But basically, it's all about the jump scares, right? Like, you're watching the cameras and you're getting the jump scare, and that's pretty much the video game. But for some reason, they decide to make a movie out of it, and I'm like, okay, well, they're making a horror movie. Oh, by the way, it's for children. And I was like, how? What? Noni? Noni desu ka? Noni? So, it's like, how can you make a horror for kids? And I'm trying to think, like, what is horror for kids? It's like, I don't know, can you say Lion King is horror for kids? No, it wasn't horrifying. I cried, but like, it wasn't horror. Willy Wonka Chocolate Factory. I guess that's a little bit unsettling. Like, Willy Wonka Chocolate Factory can be horror for kids, right? But it's like, no. So anyway, right? And then I see IGN giving it a glowing review. Like, a 4 from IGN, in my opinion, is a must-watch. Like, now I have to see it. Like, if IGN gives it a 4, it must be good, right? But not to mention, it has too much plot. A movie has too much plot, according to IGN. Not enough of the game's primal security can thrill. What the fuck do you want, IGN? Like, did you expect that the movie? Because again, it's a movie. Like, first of all, I wouldn't make a movie about Five Nights at Freddy. Like, no. Just because, like, it's a video game doesn't mean it can be a movie. Just because it's an anime doesn't mean it can be a movie. Just because it's a movie doesn't mean it can be a video game or an anime. You know, that doesn't make sense. Actually, you know what? Never mind. A movie can actually be a video game. I think there are no exceptions to this. But anyway, right. The other way around doesn't really work. Because there are video games that literally don't have any plot. Like Five Nights at Freddy's. Like... Or maybe it does have plot, but then, you know, it's not like the gameplay. Anyway, apparently, it's got too much plot. Got too much plot, so it got a 4 from IGN. It didn't get a 7. It didn't get a 7, it got a 4. Yeah, school is harder enough for kids, unironically. But dude, like I am the age... The venerable age of 37 almost, right? And I still get nightmares that I'm in school and I didn't study for the test. Like, that shit marked me for life, chat. It's like getting PTSD from Vietnam. And the thing is, it's like, I'm not the only one that goes through this. I know so many people. This is like probably the most common nightmare in the world. Like you're 37. And you're dreaming, and you're like, oh shit, I didn't study. The teacher is going to listen to me. The teacher is going to put me in front of the class and ask me questions, and I didn't study. Oh, the test is coming up, and I didn't study, and I'm going to get an F on the test. It's literally the worst thing. Like, you know, like we protect kids from horror movies, and we say, well, yeah, like this isn't for kids. They already experienced the most traumatizing event that they're ever going to experience in their fucking life, and that is cool. IGM, but what are Freddy's pronouns? Yes. What are Freddy's pronouns? Yeah, I know, right. The thing with Five Nights at Freddy, like this, see, this would actually be a good movie. Like, if you want to make a movie with Five Nights at Freddy's, this is how I would do it. The guy who made Five Nights at Freddy, the original owner, from my understanding, was a right-winger. Like, he was actually a person, much like myself, who had right-wing views. And Five Nights at Freddy's became incredibly popular with the furry fandom. For some reason. People looked at these animatronics and they thought about porn. Vor in particular, like Vor was actually very popular with this shit, but regular vanilla was also a thing. And with the furries came the demands. The demands of the creator of the video game be cancelled. Does this make any fucking sense to you, chat? It makes absolutely no sense to me. Like if I were to like something, right? Like I become a fan of something. Let's say I'm a fan of, I don't fucking know, Overwatch. And as a fan of Overwatch, the first thing I do when I find, like I don't have a problem with the game. Like, the game is fine. I love the game. I just want the guy who made it to be fired. Does that make any sense? Does that right? Like, what the fuck? Friday nights are Freddy, but Freddy votes Democrat. Freddy always votes Democrat. Anyway, right, so they're advocating for this guy to step down. And eventually this guy actually steps down, like he's tired because he was getting internet harassment and he already made money. Like, I think he was already a millionaire. Sells his franchise, fucks off. Now the franchise is in corporate hands and the other games are never the same and they get movies and shit. Isn't that the Harry Potter fandom? Yeah, literally, the Harry Potter fandom as well. But at least with the Harry Potter fandom, they're like, okay, well, it's done. You know, like you're never going to get another Harry Potter movie. That's good. It's like the story is over. You know, J.K. Rowling's white woman bad. Okay. But like with this, like they wanted sequels. Like usually, and I'll tell you this, the second game in any franchise is the best. The second game, not the first, not the third. Why? The first game comes with a lot of passion. Like when someone creates a video game, when they make the first game, there's a lot of passion going on. And that is the game. And the problem with it is that they don't have resources, right? So usually the first game comes out of someone's pockets. It's an indie title. It has passion, but it's not really that good because they don't have the resources to do whatever they want. They don't have the resources to hire the talent. They don't have the resources to implement all of the things they want. And if the first game sells well, then the sequel is where they can put the money in. So now that the sequel comes up, they have the passion, and now they have the funding, and they actually usually make a good game. Like, look at Mass Effect. There's many other examples. Obviously, there's outliers too, but like Baldur's Gate 2, right? Diablo 2. Like, there are exceptions, of course, but usually the second game is the best. It doesn't count if the second game comes up after 3 decades, Mr. Alan Wake. Okay? Like, there are exceptions. But what I'm trying to say is that the third game starts being shit. Because by the third game, the enthusiasm is lost, the corporations come in, it becomes corporatized, the studio is too big, investors' money, blah, blah, blah. Second game, chat, second game. So with Friday Nights at Freddy, like, they could have waited for the second game. We could have gotten something good, but unfortunately, we did not. Left 4 Dead 2 counts, Team Fortress 2 doesn't count. Right? Like, again, it's gotta be... The second title needs to come in a couple of years after the first, right? So it shouldn't come up right after the first, like 1 year later, and it shouldn't come out like 4 years later. It needs to be between 1 and 4 years, because otherwise you get the same shit what you got with what was it, Dragon Age. Like, Dragon Age 2 was really bad in my opinion, although I would say Dragon Age 2 wasn't that bad compared to Dragon Age 3, so... But pretty much, like, this is a rule that is constantly true. Like, the second one, especially with movies, right? Like the second movie is better than the third. Like look at Aliens, right? Aliens is better than Aliens 3 or 4. Predator 2 is better than Predator. Maybe, like, I don't know. I kind of like 2 more than 1. I know some people will disagree. But yeah. There are exceptions, of course, right? Like, it's not mathematics. Still, like, the logic is there. The logic is that the first one has passion. Second one gets resources in order to actually allow people to make whatever they want. Was really good. I mean, when you say really good, it's good for its time, I suppose. I watched Conan on my server this year. And surprisingly, it had very little dialogue. Like most of Conan, it has certain parts that are wholesome. Like it feels like some people playing a Dungeons and Dragons campaign. But other than that, there's almost nothing to analyze. I mean, if Mauler would do an EFAP on Conan the Barbarian, I don't know what he would talk about. Again, like there's no dialogue almost. There's a couple of lines here and there. But I'm willing to bet that the entire Conan the Barbarian script can be put in a notepad. You know, it's just... RoboCop was very good. Yes, like RoboCop applies today, especially RoboCop 2. A lot of people don't like RoboCop 2. We watched it. The main problem with RoboCop 2, I believe, is the sound effects. Unironically, like they have cartoon sound effects in many places. But it has some really good social commentary, especially of what's happening today. I would say it would be a must-watch next to Demolition Man. Yeah, Conan is no talking, just manly men doing manly things. It even has like a strong female character. Yeah, it's got a strong female lead in Conan, who dies, by the way. Very unfortunate. We are past Demolition Man. I don't think we're past it. I think we're literally there. I mean, it's yeah, we don't have the corporations creating the Taco Bell, I guess. But other than that, yeah, we're definitely at Demolition Man level. Like even the beginning of Demolition Man, like this is the most hilarious thing. The guys in the sewers are writing on a wall, "Life is hell." And the powers that be are freaking out over the graffiti. Like, that is the crime that freaks out the people in Demolition Man. Like they are literally posting on a wall. Like, they predicted social media so accurately. You have the trolls in the sewer, and they're putting a message on the wall saying that life isn't perfect, and this freaks out the people in charge. To the point where they have to use the nuclear option and awaken like a criminal from the previous century in order to try to kill the people that are posting graffiti on walls, right? Like, the ideological thought crime is the worst thing that's happening for the people in charge. Like, I don't know how they predicted it. I genuinely don't know. Like, hold on, let me see if I can. Demolition Man, Life is Hell. I don't think I can show it here because copyright. Yeah, there's no pictures of it. I guess like I would have to get the movie and screenshot that thing. Hold on, Demolition Man graffiti. Let me try it like this. Ah, here we go. Right, so basically, literally in the beginning of the movie, this is how it starts. There's some guys in a sewer who are like organizing like this big thing, and you're wondering like, what are they doing? What crime are? And they're posting on a computer, and from the ground comes like, I guess like a futuristic device which posts this on the wall: "Life is hell." And immediately, like, there's another system which clears the wall, Like, it's almost like automatic. Like, the wall gets covered with electricity and this thing gets erased, right? And apparently, like, this was the crime, like a huge crime that was committed is the fact that they posted this on a wall. Like, it's literal. Like, they posted it on a wall. And now what is the worst crime that you hear politicians talk about? And, you know, you hear the European Union talk about, and the United Nations talking about, and the Democrat. Harmful misinformation, disinformation, posted on a fucking wall. Like, this is why they were upset about this, by the way, that it's misinformation and disinformation. Life is hell. It's not true. Life was wonderful. Like the way this movie managed to predict the future is astonishing. Titanfall 2 was better than 1. I kind of agree. I didn't like the Titan battle as much in 2, but like single player campaign, yes, Titanfall 2 was definitely better. 69 likes. Oh, I'm going to like my own video. There we go. Now we have 70. It's actually interesting. Here's something that I'll add as food for thought, and then I'll leave it at this. Liking your own posts, right? Like on Twitter, it's considered incredibly rude. You're not supposed to like your own posts. You're not supposed to retweet your own posts. But the thing is, the algorithm actually likes it if you like your own posts. So like if you like your own posts on Twitter, like it is known that it's being boosted. And it's in your best interest to self-like your posts. Yes. Like, why are you posting? So people get to see it, right? The more likes it has, the more people see it. And yet for some reason, it's considered uncivilized to like your post. Fuck that shit. I retweet my posts all the fucking time. I don't give a fuck. Like, why am I on Twitter? So people can hear what I have to say. I retweet my own posts. I don't care. You can't bring the likes back to 69 unless you dislike it, yeah. Isn't it like narcissistic? I don't fucking care, Ioana. Maybe it is, maybe it's not, but you know what it does? It gets more people to see my posts. Why am I there? So people can see my posts. Why wouldn't I do what's required? It's not even narcissism, because it's not that I like my posts. I mean, well, probably I do, because like a mother, I like all my children, and therefore I like all my posts. But I want people to see it, right? Like, I want to promote my shit, so there we go. Social media is conditioning. Do what the system tells you. Yeah. Stop disliking me. Oh my god. I will end the stream. If I end the stream, will you guys stop disliking? Can you dislike after the stream is ended? Actually, you can. Shit. I check my own comments every once in a while, but really that is under 1%. I retweet my own I retweet my own retweets all the time. I don't fucking care. I'll retweet shit. It's fine. Why wouldn't I retweet shit? Is there any reason? Is there any disadvantage? Oh, people won't like it. Who cares what people like? If I care what people like, then I wouldn't be a content creator. Let me give you another example what people don't like. Soy facing. I talked about this in my previous stream, but it's true. I'll talk about it here again. Soy facing is one of the worst. The YouTube algorithm promotes people that soy face in the thumbnail. Did you know this? Like, look at the two biggest YouTubers, PewDiePie and Mr. Beast. What do? They're soy facing. Like right now, soy facing. So you make a picture, like a thumbnail, with something, and then you go like, and this sells. Like, this gives you clicks. If you do this, you get views. This is what I need to do. It is repulsive, but who cares? It gives you views. I should do it, I guess. I'll try to do it. Do you know, again, like as a YouTuber, I can tell you how exhausting it is. Like, when you finish recording a video, you're a little bit tired. You're fatigued. Like, you're talking to yourself in a room for an hour. And you're like, oh, God. And then you have to record the thumbnail. So you're like, oh. Like, this is what they do. Unironically, like, I wish someone would have a camera in their room. Do you know how weird it is? Like, when someone puts a camera on someone that's streaming or takes a picture of themselves, right? And it literally would look like this. It would look like this. You know? Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, it's what it is. And the algorithm promotes some of the cringiest stuff. So like the best type of video, the best type of thumbnail is soy facing. The second best type is smiling. And the third type is anger. It's so common on Twitch, they even call it pogging. Anyway, right. I'll leave you guys here. I still have one more video to upload, and then maybe I can go right for my video game. So